Good morning, second graders and the rest of Woodcrest. Today I am here to read Is There a Cure for Chocolate Fever by Robert Kimmel Smith. This video will be in segments, one chapter at a time. This is one of my favorite books, and there's a cute video on YouTube once we're done reading it that I can link here as well. Here we go. Is there a cure for chocolate fever? I'm not a huge fan of chocolate, but I know lots of people are. And in this story, Henry Green loves chocolate. Chocolate fever. Here we go. Chapter 1. Meet Henry Green. There are some people that say Henry Green wasn't really born, but was hatched, fully grown from a chocolate bean. Can you believe that? Anyway, this particular Henry Green we are speaking of was really born, not hatched, and had a wonderful mom and dad in the bargain. His father was tall and lean and wore eyeglasses, except for when he was sleeping or in the shower. Mama Green, whose name was Enid, was a short, slim woman with blue-gray eyes and a tiny mouth that always seemed to be on the verge of a smile. They all lived in an apartment in the middle of the city, along with Henry's older brother and sister. Mark Green was 10 and tall and very good to Henry, except when they would argue, which was often. And then he would hit Henry on the head with anything that was handy, which sometimes was hard. But mostly Mark was fun to be with, and he only got angry when Henry called him Marco Polo. Mark didn't like that, and who could blame him? I remember being little and my brother and I fighting all the time. Henry's sister was very, very old, almost 14. She didn't ever argue with Henry or Mark. In fact, she hardly talked to them at all because she was so old and wise and almost grown up. Her name was Elizabeth. The other morning, which was a school day at the end of the school week called Friday, Henry, Mark, and Elizabeth were at the table at the dining room having breakfast. Mark was eating fried eggs. Here's a little picture for you. So Mark was eating fried eggs. Elizabeth was quietly chewing on her usual breakfast of buttery toast and milk, and Henry was midway through his usual breakfast too. Listen carefully to this. Chocolate cake, a bowl of Cocoa Crispy cereal and milk, with chocolate syrup in the milk to make it more chocolatey, washed down with a big glass of chocolate milk, and 5 or 6 chocolate cookies. Sometimes, when it was left over from the night before, Henry would also have chocolate pudding. And on Sunday mornings, he usually had chocolate ice cream. The truth was that Henry was in love with chocolate, and chocolate seemed to love him. It didn't make him fat. He was a little on the thin side, in fact. It didn't hurt his teeth. He'd never had a cavity in his life. It didn't stunt his growth. He was just about average height, perhaps even a little tall for his age. It didn't harm his skin, which had always been clear and fair, but most of all, it never, ever gave him a bellyache, and so his parents, perhaps not being as wise as they were kind, let Henry have as much chocolate as he liked. Can you imagine a boy having a chocolate bar sandwich as an after-school snack? Well, Henry did, just about every day. And when he ate mashed potatoes, just a few drops of chocolate syrup swished through them seemed to make them taste a lot better. Chocolate sprinkles sprinkled on top of the plain buttered noodles was tasty too. Not to mention a light dusting of cocoa on things like peaches, pears, and applesauce. In the Greens' kitchen pantry, there was always a giant supply of chocolate cookies, chocolate cakes, chocolate pies, and chocolate candies of every kind. There was chocolate ice cream, too. And chocolate nut, and chocolate fudge, and chocolate marshmallow, chocolate squirrel, and especially chocolate almond crunch ice cream. All of that was just for Henry. If there was one thing you could say about Henry, it was that he surely did love chocolate. Probably more than any boy in the history of the world, his mother would say. How does Henry like his chocolate? Daddy Green would sometimes joke. Well, he likes it bitter, sweet, light, dark, and daily. And it was true, up until the day we're talking about, right now. That's the end of chapter 1, so we're going to stop there. Chapter 2 starts, and it's called A Strange Feeling. I want you to think about how much chocolate Henry was really eating all day long. Chocolate on your mashed potatoes, chocolate milk in your cereal, chocolate ice cream. Holy cow, how much chocolate do you think you could eat? Stay tuned for chapter 2 in the next video.